In July 1980, 4 inmates escaped from a maximum security prison in Georgia. All of them were notorious scumbags who had spent their worthless days on death row awaiting execution. Among them was 32-year-old Troy Leon Gregg, who had killed and robbed 2 men 7 years earlier, for which he received his death sentence. Over the course of several months, the escapees methodically sawed through the bars of their cells on the 4th floor, after which they climbed onto the ledge of the building and reached the window of the gym, which also had a bar cut off in advance. Next to the gym was the prison guard's locker room, where the criminals changed into the uniforms of the zone employees and calmly walked to the main gate. When one of the real guards asked where they were going, they replied that they were conducting a security check. Having left the prison through the central entrance, all 4 got into a car, kindly parked nearby by the aunt of one of the death row inmates, and headed off to meet a free life. The prison authorities learned about the escape only a few hours later from a journalist from the Albany Herald, whom the escaped Gregg called and said that they would rather die than spend another day in the inhumane conditions of the prison. The next morning, Troy Leon Gregg's body was fished out of the river, located near a bar where bikers usually gathered. During a short investigation, it turned out that the escapees visited this drinking establishment in order to celebrate their long-awaited freedom. There, Gregg noticed a pretty waitress and began to pester the woman, who, unfortunately for the criminal, turned out to be the wife of a member of the biker group Outlaws, James "Butch" Horn. Another escapee, Timothy McCorkadale, begged Gregg to stop, as any trouble could attract unnecessary attention to them and expose them, but Troy would not let up. A brutal fight ensued, with Horn and McCorkadale beating Gregg at the same time. One beat the prisoner in rage for his advances towards his wife, the other for threatening their common cause. Afterwards, they dumped the body in the Catawba River, where local residents would find it a few hours later. Interestingly, Troy Leon Gregg went down in history as the first person to escape from death row in the history of the state of Georgia. He escaped the night before his own execution, but, as we can see, he did not hide far from his fate, smiley face. The remaining escapees were returned to prison 3 days later, after they were caught in the home of another member of the Outlaws group. All of them were subsequently executed.